Are you truly seeing the people in your life, or are there hidden currents, unseen depths that shape every interaction? Beyond what's said, a universe of silent communication unfolds. The fifth key will change how you connect forever. Don't miss this journey. Unspoken needs. Beneath the surface of our everyday interactions, beneath the words we choose and the actions we take, lies a vast and often unseen ocean of unspoken needs. These are the deep currents that powerfully, yet silently, influence our perceptions, our behaviors, and the very fabric of our connections with others. We all carry these needs for acceptance, for understanding, for safety, for love, for validation, for significance. Yet many of us are not fully conscious of them, nor are we always adept at communicating them clearly and directly. Consequently, these hidden currents can create ripples, misunderstandings, and even profound disconnections if they remain unacknowledged and unaddressed, both within ourselves and in our relationships. To unlock a deeper understanding of human connection, we must first learn to perceive and honor these powerful, yet often invisible drivers. Consider how often an outburst of anger, a withdrawal into silence, or a pattern of persistent criticism might not be a direct reflection of the immediate situation, but rather a misdirected expression of an unmet need. Perhaps the anger masks a deep fear of abandonment, the silence a need for space that feels unsafe to request, or the criticism a painful longing for appreciation that has gone unanswered. When we only react to the surface behavior without sensing the underlying unspoken need, we miss the opportunity for true understanding and compassionate connection. We engage with the symptom, not the source. The wisdom lies in cultivating the sensitivity to look beyond the immediate presentation and gently inquire, both of ourselves and others, what fundamental human longing might be seeking expression, however awkwardly or unskillfully. This awareness begins with ourselves. Before we can truly perceive the unspoken needs in others, we must first become familiar with our own. What are the deep-seated desires that motivate your actions in relationships? Do you consistently seek reassurance due to an underlying need for security? Do you strive for perfection, driven by a hidden need for approval? By courageously and compassionately examining our own inner landscape, by identifying these core motivators, we gain invaluable self-awareness. This self-understanding then equips us to communicate our own needs more effectively, reducing the likelihood of them leaking out in indirect or unhelpful ways. It also fosters a greater capacity for empathy as we recognize the universality of these fundamental human requirements. When we approach others with an awareness of their potential unspoken needs, our interactions can transform. Instead of meeting defensiveness with more defensiveness, we might meet it with a gentle curiosity. I sense there might be something more going on here. Is there something you need that you're not getting? This doesn't mean becoming a mind reader or taking responsibility for fulfilling everyone else's needs. Rather, it means creating a space of safety and openness where these underlying currents can be brought into the light, where genuine dialogue can replace reactive patterns. It's about recognizing the vulnerable human core beneath the often protective layers of behavior. This empathic attunement can diffuse tension, build trust, and pave the way for much deeper, more authentic connections. The challenge lies in the fact that these needs are often hidden, even from the individuals themselves. Societal conditioning, past traumas, or ingrained defense mechanisms can lead us to suppress or deny our deepest longings. Therefore, fostering an environment where it feels safe to explore and express vulnerability is paramount. This requires patience, non-judgment, and a consistent demonstration of trustworthiness. When people feel truly seen and accepted, not for a polished persona but for their authentic selves, these unspoken needs can begin to surface in healthier, more direct ways, allowing for genuine intimacy and mutual support. The uncontrollable aspect here is often the initial unconscious expression of these deep needs. Bringing them to conscious awareness is the key to more conscious and thus more controlled or skillfully expressed relating. Understanding this dynamic of unspoken needs moves us beyond simplistic interpretations of behavior. It allows us to see that much of what appears as difficult or confusing in human interaction is often a poignant, albeit sometimes misguided, attempt to get a fundamental need met. This perspective fosters compassion rather than condemnation, curiosity rather than judgment. It shifts the focus from what is wrong with this person to what might this person be truly seeking, and how can I create the space for that to be understood and, if appropriate, met with care. This key unlocks a more profound, more human way of relating, transforming conflicts into opportunities for deeper connection and mutual understanding. It's recognizing the tender heart beating beneath even the most perplexing exteriors. The revelation of these hidden drivers does not grant us control over others, but it grants us far greater control over our own responses and the quality of connection we cultivate. By attuning to the silent language of need, both within ourselves and in those we interact with, we gain the wisdom to navigate relationships with more grace, less reactivity, and a much deeper capacity for creating bonds that are truly nourishing and resilient. This first hidden key, recognizing the power of unspoken needs, is fundamental to going beyond the veil of superficial interaction. Shadow play. Within the complex tapestry of human connection, another profound and often unseen influence is the dynamic of shadow play. The term shadow, drawn from depth psychology, refers to those aspects of ourselves that we have disowned, repressed, or remain unconscious of. Qualities, desires, or traumas that don't fit our conscious self-image. Because these parts are hidden from our own awareness, they don't simply disappear. Instead, they are often projected onto others, coloring our perceptions and powerfully influencing how we interact, often in ways we can't immediately control or understand. Recognizing this interplay of shadows is a crucial key to unlocking a deeper, more honest understanding of ourselves and our relationships, moving us beyond superficial judgments to a place of profound self-revelation. When we encounter a quality in another person that evokes a disproportionately strong emotional reaction in us, intense admiration, irrational irritation, deep fear, or unwarranted judgment, it is often a signal that our own shadow is being stirred. If we despise arrogance in someone, it might be because we have disowned our own capacity for healthy self-assertion or have a hidden fear of our own ambition. If we are overly critical of someone's perceived weakness, it could reflect an intolerance for our own vulnerabilities. The other person becomes a screen upon which we project these unacknowledged parts of ourselves. This isn't a conscious process, which is precisely why it's so potent and often so misleading. We believe we are reacting to the other person when in fact, a significant part of our reaction is a confrontation with our own hidden self. This shadow projection profoundly impacts our connections. It can lead to unfair judgments, persistent conflicts, and an inability to see the other person clearly for who they truly are. We might find ourselves repeatedly drawn into similar patterns of relationship, encountering the same types of people or facing the same recurring issues, not realizing that we are co-creating these dynamics through the lens of our unacknowledged shadow material. The feeling of, I can't control why they affect me this way, often points directly to this unconscious mechanism. The control, or rather the path to more conscious engagement, begins with courageously turning the gaze inward and asking, what part of me is being activated here? What is this person or this situation mirroring back to me about my own unowned self? The journey of shadow work, of bringing these hidden aspects into conscious awareness, is not an easy one, but it is incredibly rewarding. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to embrace the parts of ourselves we might have preferred to ignore or deny. This process often involves paying attention to our strong emotional triggers, exploring our dreams, or engaging in deep self-reflection, perhaps with the guidance of a trusted therapist or mentor. As we begin to reclaim these disowned parts, integrating them into a more whole and authentic sense of self, their power to unconsciously distort our perceptions of others diminishes. We become less reactive, more discerning, and capable of seeing people with greater clarity and compassion. This key unlocks a profound level of self-awareness. It teaches us that our relationships are often mirrors, reflecting back to us not only the qualities of the other person, but also the hidden landscapes of our own psyche. When we understand this, we can begin to use our interactions as opportunities for self-discovery and growth, rather than as battlegrounds for projection and blame. The intense charge we feel towards another might then be seen not as evidence of their inherent flaw, but as an invitation to explore a disowned part of our own potential or pain. This doesn't excuse genuinely harmful behavior in others, but it helps us to disentangle our own projections from the objective reality of the situation. Recognizing shadow play also fosters a deeper sense of empathy. When we acknowledge our own capacity for all human traits, the light and the dark, we become less inclined to self-righteously condemn others. We understand that everyone carries a shadow, and that we are all, to some extent, engaged in this dance of projection and perception. This shared human experience can create a bridge of understanding, even amidst differences. It allows us to approach conflicts with a greater sense of humility and a willingness to explore our own contribution to the dynamic, rather than simply pointing the finger. This is crucial for navigating connections from a place of wisdom rather than reactivity. Ultimately, by courageously engaging with our own shadow, we reclaim the energy that was bound up in repression and projection. This reclaimed energy becomes available for more conscious, authentic living and relating. We become more whole, more integrated, and therefore more capable of genuine intimacy, which thrives on authenticity rather than illusion. The uncontrollable emotional reactions begin to subside as their unconscious roots are brought to light. This key, understanding the profound influence of shadow play, is vital for moving beyond the veil, for it shows us that true understanding of others always begins with a courageous journey into the hidden depths of ourselves. It's a journey from unconscious reaction to conscious creation in our connections. Pattern echoes. Our lives, and particularly our relationships, are often subtly and powerfully shaped by pattern echoes, the reverberations of past experiences, learned behaviors, and unresolved emotional dynamics from our earlier life, especially our formative years. These patterns, imprinted deep within our subconscious, can act like invisible scripts, dictating our responses, shaping our expectations, and influencing whom we are drawn to and how we interact, often in ways that seem beyond our immediate control until we make the conscious effort to bring them into the light. Unlocking this key, recognizing the echoes of the past in our present connections, is crucial for breaking free from repetitive, unfulfilling dynamics and for cultivating relationships based on conscious choice rather than unconscious compulsion. Think of a child growing up in an environment where love was conditional or where emotional expression was unsafe. That child might develop patterns of people-pleasing, a fear of intimacy, or a tendency to suppress their own needs to maintain connection. These patterns, once adaptive and necessary for survival in their original context, can persist into adulthood, unconsciously playing out in romantic relationships, friendships, and even professional interactions. The individual might find themselves repeatedly attracting partners who are emotionally unavailable or struggling to assert their own needs, not fully understanding why these themes recur, because the original blueprint, the echo from the past, is still silently running the show. These pattern echoes can manifest in myriad ways. We might unconsciously recreate dynamics from our family of origin. Perhaps we find ourselves in the role of the caregiver, the peacemaker, or the rebel long after we've left home. We might be drawn to partners who remind us, on some deep unconscious level, of a parent, either because we are seeking to heal an old wound or because the familiar, even if painful, feels strangely comfortable. Our reactions to conflict, our communication styles, our very definitions of love and trust are often steeped in these early learnings. The feeling of "I don't know why I always react this way," or "why do I keep choosing the same kind of person?" frequently points to these deeply ingrained echoing patterns.